Hi, I'm Jim Roche, a fixed operations expert based in the United States. I'm the author of Fast Lane, and we've translated Fast Lane into Russian. Because of the demand for my books, I've been asked to present to you today some of the concepts created in these books. Because the books are pretty long, we're not going to go over every aspect of it, but just touch on various parts. I hope you enjoy it. So our topic today is getting into the fast lane in order to create lifetime customers. But I always think that the best place to begin is at the start. Let's agree that the objective is profitable growth. There is no other objective. Everything else is a servant to the objective of profitable growth. However, I think you'd agree that profitable vehicle sales growth has its challenges, especially these days. Light vehicle sales in the United States are dropped primarily due to the pandemic, and maybe more importantly, gross margins that we see both in new and used vehicle sales have been dropping for some time. Used vehicle sales are now below 6%, and new vehicle sales hovering in the 2% range. Very, very difficult to make money going forward simply selling cars. Contrast that against the service department. In the United States, we see a growing percentage of total dealership gross profit coming from the service department. The dealer share of automotive service in the US is exactly 33%, and that carries with it a gross margin of 46%. So if you think about it, if your objective is profitable growth, having an upside of 67% at a 46 gross margin, service must be a very main pillar of your profitability strategy. And we're going to talk about why loyalty needs to be the foundation for that. Our objective is to drive profit through loyalty and retention of customers. This is your profitable growth strategy. Put simply, what you want to do is you want to keep as many of your customers as possible while taking customers from the competition. It is as simple as that. And I know that you know this. Based on our market research, when we asked dealers what your concerns were, almost 57% of you said that customer retention is your primary concern. And let me be clear, you didn't say it's a concern or one of your concerns. You said it's your primary concern. So dealers intuitively know that the key going forward to profitability is creating loyalty with your customer. So let's talk a little bit more about loyalty, because loyalty is often misunderstood. Now, we tend to use the terms retention and loyalty synonymously, and I don't think that's correct. To me, retention is binary. They're either coming back or they're not coming back. Loyalty is more nuanced, and it's important to understand it. The best way I have come up with to explain it is based on this four square. You have loyalists, mercenaries, hostages, and defectors. And if you look at the horizontal axis, you say that that indicates loyalty, and the vertical axis indicates satisfaction. So customers who are truly loyal go through the same progression on their journey to loyalty. Now, it may happen as quickly as in a single day, or it may happen over a period of years, but the progression is always the same. It begins with what I call the wallet phase. I give you some of my money in order to sample your goods or services. And if that goes well, then I will progress to the next phase, time. I will invest some of my time to get to know you, your staff, your products, your facility better. And if that goes all right, then I progress to the top and the most important aspect of loyalty, the reputation phase. When you are in the reputation phase of loyalty, I wouldn't dream of going to anyone else for your good or service, but maybe more importantly, I stake my reputation by telling my family and friends that they should do business with you too. This is sometimes referred to as the apostle level of loyalty. This is where we want to be. At the other end of the spectrum, you have defectors. These are companies who have done business with you in the past, but no longer do for some reason. And worst of all is a subcategory of defectors called terrorists. I don't know what you did, but terrorists will go out of their way to tell their friends and anyone on social media how terrible you are. Now, there are two other categories, mercenaries and hostages. You know both of them. A mercenary is someone who is satisfied, but they are not loyal. Think your discount cutters, your coupon hunters. A mercenary is someone who will bleed your gross profit dry because they're all about price. So as long as you continue to feed them the no gross discounts, they'll happily come back to you. But as soon as somebody beats your $29 oil change with the $27 oil change, they're gone. They are satisfied as long as you give them the price they want, but they are not loyal. And then we have hostages. Hostages are loyal, but they are not satisfied. Think of customers where you are the only place that they can get their warranty done. Or perhaps they purchased a prepaid maintenance package. They can't go anyplace else. They have no choice. So they're forced loyalty, but they're not satisfied. And as soon as that forced loyalty is removed, they will be gone. You must be able to distinguish between mercenaries, hostages, and loyal customers, because I can't tell you the number of times that I've walked out into the service lane with the dealer or with the service leader, and they've pointed and they say, I see familiar faces, my loyal customers. And I think, are you sure? We must identify and cultivate the loyalists and move them up the loyalty ladder. I get a lot, what's changed in our industry? And higher customer expectations tops the list of trends. These are things, again, through market research that you have told us. Higher customer expectations are changing quickest. It used to be that customers just wanted to come service and get their vehicle fixed. Now that's table stakes. In addition, now they want a good interpersonal experience. They want easy online scheduling and quick turnaround. They want transparent pricing, and they want good communications. And more we're seeing the amenities. In addition to all of what I just said, they want the espresso bar, they want the Wi-Fi, they want somebody to watch their kid while they're getting service done. And the thing about the amenities is that these are never going to stop. That's never going to roll back. We're just going to see the amenities as we compete for the customer ratchet up more and more and more. But the root of all of this really is that the differentiators are changing. You know, we have been a product business for over 100 years, and it was always about the design of the product and the manufacturing. But what's happened over the last 20 years is that advances in both design and manufacturing have created parity. And the way I always demonstrate this is to ask, think about it for a minute. When was the last time you saw a really ugly new car? And I will bet that you've got to go back very far to remember that. In the United States, whenever I ask that question, the audience, thinks about it, and invariably somebody says the Pontiac Aztek. And everyone laughs because we can all agree that was not an attractive vehicle. But what's interesting is that they stopped production on the Aztek in 2004, I believe. We have to go that far back to think of a really ugly car. In fact, nowadays, there is a beautifully designed, high-quality vehicle available to every consumer at every price point. And once that is the case, you now have product parity. So how do you differentiate yourself? And I believe the only way that you will differentiate yourself is through the experience. As a matter of fact, based on research, Gen Y consumers state that they think the customer experience is 3 times more important than the vehicle design itself. So, okay, we have to compete on the experience. Let's talk about experiences. There's a great book by the Heath brother called The Power of Moments. And essentially, they examined how our minds work and how we make decisions based on memories and experiences. And what they found is that, looking at the top here, is that day-to-day experiences tend to blend together. It's not that you can't recall them, it's just that they're not top of mind. What we remember, what we internalize, are peak experiences. things that stand out in our mind, whether they be positive or negative. A peak experience is something that is involved in judgment when it comes to decision making. And just to demonstrate the point, let me ask you real quick, just clear your mind and remember your last vacation. Odds are what you remembered is a peak experience and the end. That's just how our minds work. So how do we create memorable experiences that keep customers coming back? Well, what you're looking at here is a hotel in Southern California near Disneyland. It is a banana yellow, cinder block in construction, looks era 1950s. The pool's too small, so a little long in the tooth. But you might be surprised to find out that in a very highly competitive tourist market, this hotel constantly ranks at the very top when it comes to the quality experience. Can you guess why? Popsicle Hotline. I know, Popsicle Hotline. And what that means is that stationed around the hotel are these red phones that you see. And whenever you pick the phone up, somebody immediately answers and says, Popsicle Hotline. And you tell them where you are, and someone wearing white gloves carrying a silver tray will bring you your flavor of popsicle absolutely free. Isn't that fun? And people have been coming back and bringing their kids and their grandkids back to this hotel for decades for things like Popsicle Hotline. It's something that just creates a peak memorable experience. I love this story and I love this example, but here's one of the reasons why I love it. Think about it for a second. What does that cost? And the answer is nearly nothing. And that's the lesson for us in part. You know your market and you know your customers. It's not about spending a bunch of money and creating the pageant. A memorable experience can be as simple as Popsicle Hotline. You just have to think about it and do something that is unique and delights your customers. What companies are reshaping the customer experience? Well, I always start with what I think is the gold standard, and that's Amazon. Most of you, I assume, have had the Amazon experience, but let's recount what happens because it is truly the model. You will get an email or some sort of a promotion telling you of something that piques your interest. So you click on a graphic or a link, and it takes you to a shopping experience. And there in that shopping experience, you can examine every facet of that item that you're interested in. You can look at it. You can look at variations of it. You look at competitive items. You can read customer reviews. You can look at different pricing options. You drag and drop your selection into a shopping cart, and then you have a dialogue about when would you like it shipped. When you confirm and you pay, that's actually where it begins. Then you get regular emails updating you on the status of your item. And I noticed recently now that when it gets delivered, there's an email pops up and it says, go look on your front porch, you just got it. And Amazon has spent years and years thinking about how to make this just a little bit better. How can we make it a little bit more intuitive? How can we make it one less button click? Because they know that that's what creates loyalty with consumers. This is a great model for an experience, or what I call a technology enhanced experience that consumers have come to expect. Another wonderful example is Domino's Pizza. And this one is my favorite for a reason I'll get to in a minute. I don't know if you've had the Domino's Pizza experience, but essentially what you do is you go to a website or you use an application, you configure your pizza, and I'm told that you can do it in up to 1 million different ways. I haven't tried them all. And that's when the fun begins. Then you complete your order, and then you get regular updates. The pizza is being staged in the kitchen. The pizza's in the oven. The pizza's in the delivery vehicle, and it'll be there in 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 2 minutes. And then knock, 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 the pizza arrives. They've brought complete transparency to something as simple as the pizza experience. Here's why that's important. I can get this experience today for a $10 pizza, but I can't get this experience for a $30,000 car. And that's where the disconnect is. These are two examples of hundreds of examples. Uber, Delta Airlines, the list goes on. As consumers, we now manage our lives using our mobile devices, and we expect a technology-enhanced experience from every facet of that. Yet the automotive industry, particularly service, is lagging behind, and we do so at our peril, because whoever comes along and delivers that technology-enhanced experience will win the customer. If in automotive the service experience was like Amazon, it would look something like this. You would get an email promotion that was personalized to you, telling you about some need that you have on your car. You would click on that and it would take you to shopping online. And since we're talking about a service experience, in this case, it would take you to an online appointment scheduler where you could look at different days and times that were available to you. It would also show you, here are the things that the manufacturer recommends you get done at, say, 30,000 mile service. Of course, it would have price transparency, so you knew what you were paying. It would show you options for, do you want to wait, or do you want a shuttle, do you want a loaner car? You would drag and drop that selection into the system, and then it would complete the order by sending you an email confirming what you had arranged. And then, because the experience continues, when you arrived at the dealership, someone with a mobile device would greet you in the service lane. And because they had your appointment, because it was all integrated, they would call you by name and say, I see that you're here for your 30,000 mile service. After you check the vehicle in, you would get regular status updates of what's going on to your mobile device. And if you needed to change your order, of course, you could do that from your mobile device as well. And finally, when it's done, you would be told that it's done on your mobile device, and you could pay from the mobile device, because who wants to go to the dealership and stand in a long line at the cashier? This is what the experience would look like if Amazon designed it. And I say, why don't we? Why don't we as an industry deliver this technology-enhanced experience in service so that we can not only improve the experience, but really improve loyalty and therefore our profitability? Does it work? Well, if I had a nickel for every time somebody told me that the oil change is a commodity and all that customers are interested in is price, I'd probably have $25 in quarters. But this study done by IMR shows, in fact, that it's not about price. Look at the top. The number one reason why customers go back to the dealership to get their oil change is because they had a good prior experience. Where's low price? 6th. 3% of customers said they go back to the dealership because of a low price. Low single digits. It's not even a consideration. And this is the lesson for us in the automotive world. We tend to over-index on price, and we think lowest price. I don't believe it's about lowest price. I think it's about fair price, and fair price is completely different from low, because fair price is wrapped up in value. What is the value you deliver? How convenient are you? How complete? What kind of a technology-enhanced experience do you deliver? And that's the key. 40%, 4 out of 10 consumers go back to the dealership to get their oil change because they had a good prior experience. Now, that's an oil change. Does it also work for selling cars? Of course it does. Based on this market research, we asked consumers, if you've been to a dealership service department within the last 12 months and it's time to buy another car, how likely are you to go back to that dealership? If the consumer had been to that dealer within the last 12 months for service, they are 74% likely to go back for the next car. Haven't been in for service in the last 12 months? 35% likely. Less than half. Now, I hope that this is astonishing to you as it is to me. I know that I have dealers say to me after I've done this presentation that the only slide I should show is this one, because that's all that matters. Well, whatever your preference is, please remember this: 74% if they've been in service in the last year, only 35% if they have not. And I know that you understand the service experience is important. When we asked you, the service leaders and the dealers, what's more important, the service experience, the experience itself, or the actual repair, the physical working on the car, 91% of you said that the service experience is more important than the repair. Think about that. Almost unanimous that the service experience is more important than the repair. But then we asked you, do you have systems in place where you are providing that superior technology enhanced experience? And almost 86% said that your current systems do not provide that superior ownership experience. There's the disconnect. That's the fundamental problem. We know we have to deliver it, but we haven't upgraded our systems and our processes so that we have the technology that delivers that technology enhanced experience that consumers not only want, but they demand nowadays. Well, let's pause here for a second. As you can probably tell, we think a lot about the consumer experience. We've done a lot of research. So I take a second just to talk about and bust a couple of myths that are common regarding service and the ownership experience. We'll talk about two today. The first is, hey, most service customers are only available in the morning. And the second is, I do not have to be transparent with my pricing. Let's tackle the first one. In fact, customers want appointments throughout the day. When given the option, only 32% of customers said they wanted to come in before 9 a.m. And all the data shows that while 7 to 11 is still the peak when it comes to service appointments, 62%, call it 2/3, need to come in before 11 o'clock. That leaves 38% of appointments to come in after that. So if you can offer online scheduling that spreads that traffic out, that makes it easier in the morning, you don't have as much of a rush, your service advisors can spend more time with each customer, making sure that they're satisfied, making sure that you've legitimately sold everything that they should get done during that visit, and that will improve customer satisfaction. Does it work? Of course. And here's the best way to explain it. Look on the left. Appointment customers spend way more per repair order than walk-in customers. $54 more on average across all dealers, all brands, for appointments versus non-appointments. And I scratched my head about this for a long time, but then the light bulb went on. If you think about what an appointment is, not just for a service appointment, but in any walk of life, in an appointment, you budget in your own mind. You budget how much time it's going to take, and you budget how much money you're going to spend. But what's a walk-in? Typically, a walk-in is an interruption. It's unexpected. We're all very, very busy. So what do you do with interruptions? You try to minimize them. You try to reduce their impact on your day. So appointment customers will spend more because that's the nature of an appointment. And looking to the right, because it's a better experience, because it's planned, because it goes better, your 1-year loyalty is 7.5% higher on average. So appointments more money, and appointments drive more loyalty. The second myth, I don't have to be transparent with pricing. Of course you do. 71% of customers are most concerned with having a transparent cost estimate when they're setting appointments. And that's not surprising, because if you think about the internet these days, and this is the way it's been since the beginning, but again, going back to the Amazon example, they created the gold standard. If you're going to transact online, what are the fundamentals? What are the basics that you need to tell the consumer? What do I want to know? I want to know, what do I need? When can I get it? And what does it cost? Those are the three fundamentals. And if you don't tell me those three things online, then I'm less likely to transact with you online. I use this example when I'm sorry I'm not there in person. If I was, we'd do it this way. But the last audience I was in, just to demonstrate the point, I said, raise your hand if you flew to this meeting. And of course, everybody raises their hand. And then I say, raise your hand if you bought your ticket online. And again, everybody raises your hand. And then I say, okay, raise your hand if you took the airline that said, we have the flight on the day and the time that you want, and I'll tell you what it costs when you get to the airport. And of course, everybody laughs. But if you think about it, if you're not transparent with your pricing, aren't you doing that today with your service customers? Tell me what I need. Tell me when I can get it. Tell me what it costs. You must be transparent with pricing. This is how important pricing is to consumers. More important than give me a choice of appointment time of day. Cost estimate, over 7 out of 10 consumers said that is the most important. Way more important than show me transportation options or let me choose my service advisors. You must get your pricing online. 55% of car owners are more likely to service a vehicle at a dealership that provides online cost estimates. Any angle we come at it, it creates more loyalty, and that's the goal. So what can you do? Well, obviously, the first thing that we're saying is you need to provide a technology-enhanced experience, and it must be seamless. You must use digital communications to communicate to the customer, whatever the preferred channel is. That must be integrated with your scheduling. Can't be non-integrated. Got to be integrated to your scheduling. And then the scheduling must integrate to your mobile device in the service lane. That then needs to connect to the service bay. So whatever the technician is finding can be communicated back to the service advisor and ultimately to the customer. Integrated to the redelivery. So when they pick the vehicle up, and then be able to survey the customer to find out how satisfied they are, then the loop repeats itself. A seamless ownership experience, delivering that technology-enhanced loyalty driving experience. What else can you do? Well, when it comes to multi-point inspections, I advocate inspecting 100% of vehicles. The average increase in the United States per RO when you're doing a digital MPI is $110 per repair order. This also reduces your liability and enhances the customer experience. And how does it build credibility and enhance the customer experience? Inspect 100% of repair orders, even those that were in last month, even if the vehicle is relatively new. Because nothing improves your credibility. Nothing improves your ability to sell that next service by saying to the customer, we've done your inspection, all items are green, nothing needed today. They'll remember that the next time they do need something and they will buy from you. Inspect 100% of vehicles. Text updates during the service visit. So we went out, this was a survey by J.D. Power, and we asked, if we called you with updates during service, would you return? 55% of consumers said they would definitely return to service when they got an update by phone. And then we said, well, what about if we texted you updates? 67% of consumers said they would definitely return if the service is updated by text. Then we asked them, how many of you get service status updates texted to you? 3%. 3%. Now, to be fair, texting is a new and very mysterious technology. Of course it's not. There are many, many vendors out there that will provide you a service to text customer status updates. I cannot believe that only 3% of consumers are getting text updates, but almost 70% say, if you did it, I definitely come back to you. This is an easy one. This is low-hanging fruit. Figure out a way to text updates to improve your service loyalty. This is a list done by a group that we use in the United States. I'm not going to read all of the items to you, but this is a list. We went out to the most progressive dealer groups in the United States, and we asked them to give us their common loyalty practices. This is the list of the most common loyalty practices. So we'll distribute this presentation, or you can take a picture of this. Happy to discuss those with you at our next opportunity to deeper dive. But these are the top 9 in the United States when it comes to common loyalty practices. If you take nothing else away from our conversation today, please remember this. Now, this is kind of complicated to read. If you look on the left side at the vertical line, that is repurchase intention percentage. How likely are they to buy the next car from you? And across the bottom, the horizontal, that's how satisfied are they with your service, 1 through 5 stars, stars being the highest. And maybe most importantly, The colored lines are how much they like the car, the actual physical vehicle itself. So the red line is the I hate the car line, and the green line is the I love the car line. Now let's look at here, and it gets interesting. Look at the green line. If I love the car, but I only got a 3.5-star experience, my repurchase intention, I'm going to buy from you again, is identical if I love the car, or excuse me, if I hate the car, but I got a 5-star experience. They're identical. This is the power of the ownership experience. Look at how look at how loyalty moves up and to the right when you take them from 4 stars to 5 stars. That's the power of the ownership experience. Look at the green line. If they love the car and you gave them a 5-star experience, they are 72% likely to come back and buy again. That's transformative to your business. That's transformative to your profitability. And that's why delivering this ownership experience is so important. So just to summarize, 57% of you said that customer retention is your primary concern. 91% of dealers say that the service experience is more important than repair. And almost 86% of dealers say that the current systems they have do not deliver that superior technology enhanced ownership experience. And that's important because the superior experience drives service retention, which is a bigger and bigger component of overall dealership profitability. Service retention drives owner loyalty, and that's what drives profitable growth. We're back to our first slide and the objective. The objective is profitable growth. Well, that's our presentation for today. I hope that you found it useful. Again, the book is Fast Lane, and it goes much deeper into detail in these concepts. And if circumstances prevail, I'll look forward to seeing you in 2021 in Russia. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take questions and answer through the usual digital channels. Thank you.